Have you ever sworn you left your keys on the table, only to find them in your coat pocket? Or vividly remembered a childhood event that, it turns out, never actually happened? These situations are more common than we think, and they have a name: false memories. They're not lies. Your brain genuinely believes them. But why does this happen? Our brains don't work like recorders, storing every moment perfectly. Instead, they reconstruct memories each time we access them. Like a puzzle, we assemble and disassemble over and over. And in this process, details can be altered, invented, or even merged with other memories. Think of your memory like a story retold many times. With each retelling, small adjustments are made until, at some point, the original version no longer exists. This explains why two people can remember the same event in completely different ways. False memories aren't just psychological curiosities. They've influenced court rulings, led people to believe in traumatic events that never occurred, and even created shared false memories, like the famous Mandela effect. In today's video, we'll dive into the science behind this fascinating phenomenon. Why does our brain deceive us? How can we tell real memories from invented ones? And what does this reveal about the nature of our minds? Let's get started. How do false memories arise? Reconstruction, not playback. Think of your brain as a film director who, instead of playing a finished movie, rewrites the script every time you recall something. When you remember an event, it doesn't retrieve an intact file, but rather scattered fragments. An image here, a sound there, an emotion somewhere else. To piece them together, it uses special effects, filling gaps with assumptions based on your experiences, expectations, and even desires. For example, if you went to the beach and forgot whether the sky was cloudy, your brain might paint the memory with a bright blue sky, simply because that's your mental image of a perfect day. Confirmation, bias, the partial storyteller. Our brain is a biased storyteller. It loves narratives that confirm what we already believe. This is called confirmation bias. In a study from the University of California, participants with strong political views watched a debate. A week later, both sides remembered their favorite candidate's arguments as more convincing than they actually were. In other words, we don't recall facts, we recall what reinforces our identity. This explains why family fights turn into alternate versions of the same story, each shaped by the storyteller's beliefs. The power of words, psychologist Elizabeth Loftus proved that words can reprogram memories. In a classic experiment, participants watched a video of a car accident. Half were asked, how fast were the cars going when they hit each other? The other half heard, how fast were they going when they smashed into each other? A week later, the smashed group not only estimated higher speeds but also remembered broken glass, which never existed in the video. This shows how leading questions, even in daily conversations, can implant false details without us noticing. Emotions, the turbocharger of imagination. Intense emotions, like fear or euphoria, are fuel for false memories. When something shocks us, the amygdala, the fear center, kicks in, prioritizing survival over accuracy. In traumatic situations, the brain might blend real fragments with images from movies, news, or even nightmares. A real-life example. After 9/11, many Americans swore they saw live footage of the first tower being hit on TV. But those broadcasts only happened hours later. Collective emotion created a shared and false memory. Brain plasticity, the price of adaptability. The same plasticity that lets us learn languages and play instruments opens doors to distortions. Every time we replay a memory, neurons rewire connections and details can shift. In a 2015 study, 70% of participants developed a false memory of committing a crime as teens after 3 sessions of suggestive questioning. The brain isn't doing this out of malice. It wants to create a coherent story, even if it means inventing chapters. After all, for our mind, coherence is more important than truth, scientific elements, credibility, wrongful convictions. When memory becomes the enemy, in 1984, Ronald Cotton was sentenced to life in prison for a rape he didn't commit. The victim, Jennifer Thompson, swore she recognized him, but 11 years later, DNA proved his innocence. The case exposed a grave issue. Eyewitnesses trust contaminated memories. Studies show 70% of wrongful convictions in the U.S. involve mistaken identifications. Under trauma, the brain blends faces, scenes, and even sounds, turning innocents into criminals. Alien abductions. Fiction turned reality. In the 1990s, psychiatrist John Mack investigated dozens of people who swore they'd been abducted by aliens. Many described identical details: bright lights, medical exams, and missing time. But none had physical proof. How? Hypnosis and suggestion shaped these memories. In therapy sessions, questions like, "Did you see a spaceship?" triggered imagination, creating stories so vivid that patients embraced them as truth. The case of the innocent Satanists. In the 1980s, the U.S. was gripped by satanic panic. Therapists claimed patients repressed memories of ritual abuse. An infamous case, the McMartin preschool was accused of animal sacrifices and child abuse in secret tunnels. Nothing was found, but collective hysteria ruined lives. Years later, it was revealed that memories were implanted through suggestive questioning of young children who confused fantasy with reality. Mandela effect. Shared false memories. Do you remember Monopoly's man with a monocle? Or Nelson Mandela dying in the 80s? These are false memories shared by millions. The Mandela effect. Psychologists explain this emerges from repeated social narratives. For example, Monopoly's logo never had a monocle, but the character resembles Uncle Sam, who wears one. Our brain seeks patterns and in groups reinforces errors until they become facts. Impacts on justice and therapy false memories aren't just quirks. They shape entire systems. In 2018, the Innocence Project found that 30% of DNA exonerated individuals were victims of witnesses with distorted memories. In therapy, outdated regression techniques once led patients to sue families over imaginary abuse. That's why psychology now uses strict protocols to avoid suggestion. As Elizabeth Loftus says, memory is like Wikipedia. You can edit it, but so can others. How to protect yourself. Question your memories. The first step is healthy skepticism. If a memory feels vivid but lacks external evidence, photos, witnesses, records, ask yourself, did this really happen, or is my brain filling gaps? A simple exercise is comparing versions. Write down what you remember today and revisit it a week later. You'll notice small changes, a sign that memory is malleable. Avoid leading questions. Elizabeth Loftus found that even changing one word can distort recollections. For example, asking, "Did you see the thief?" assumes there was one, even if none existed. To protect your memories, reject external suggestions that imply specific details. In conversations, use open-ended questions. What do you remember? Instead of, do you remember the person in the red coat? Practice mindfulness. False memories thrive when we're distracted or stressed. Mindfulness techniques like meditation or conscious breathing improve focus during critical events. A Harvard University study showed that mindfulness practitioners have 20% fewer distortions in recent memories. Why? They encode facts more clearly, reducing the need for later inventions. Beware of regression. therapy's hypnosis, and past life regression therapies are fertile ground for false memories. In 2020, a UK therapist was sued after convincing a patient she was part of a secret cult, which never existed. If pursuing therapy, seek professionals who follow scientific protocols and avoid leading questions. Remember, memories recovered under hypnosis are rarely reliable. Educate yourself and others. 240. 3. Understanding how memory works is the best defense. Watch documentaries, read studies like Daniel Schachter's The 7 Sins of Memory, and discuss the topic with friends. In a social experiment, people who learned about false memories were 50% less influenced by fake news. Knowledge is power, and in this case, it's also protection against your mind's traps. Recap: the brain, a storyteller. Throughout this video, we've learned that memories aren't files but reconstructions. Our brain is a tireless storyteller, blending reality and imagination to create coherent narratives. False memories aren't flaws. They're the price of humanity's incredible adaptability and learning. But, as they say, knowledge is power. Personal reflection. Are your memories reliable? Think about the memories you cherish most. That unforgettable trip, a meaningful moment with a loved one. Are all the details real? It's unsettling, yet liberating to realize our identity is shaped by stories that might be imperfect. This doesn't make them less valuable. It just reminds us to embrace doubt as part of the human experience. Collective impact. From social media to justice, eating false memories aren't just individual. They shape entire societies. Fake news, conspiracy theories, and even political decisions can be fueled by collective distortions. In 2020, a study showed that false memories about vaccines spread 3x faster than facts on Twitter. We need to question not just our recollections but also the truths we accept uncritically. Empowerment: how to use this knowledge. Now that you know how false memories form, you can flip the script. Use mindfulness techniques to encode important moments clearly. Question polarized memories. I'm always right. To strengthen relationships. And above all, remember, our mind isn't an enemy. It's an ally that sometimes takes creative shortcuts. Share your story. Your turn. Comment below. Have you ever had a memory that turned out false? Did you swear Monopoly had a monocle, or that Mandela died in the 80s? Your experience helps others understand this phenomenon. Don't forget to like, share with psychology lovers, and subscribe for more journeys into the human brain. In the next video, we'll explore why we dream, and how dreams can unlock secrets of your subconscious. See you then.